Welcome to Viewpoints. I'm Heather Isvaron, and with me today is the Acting Director for the California Department of Alcoholic Beverage Control, Ramona Prieto. Welcome, Mona.
Thank you, Heather. It's a pleasure to be here. It's a pleasure to be a representative of Alcoholic Beverage Control, a department that works so hard to keep our communities safe.
And we're going to talk about that today. Tell us about your mission.
So our mission is to enforce the Alcoholic Beverage Control Act, but it's way more than that. What we try to do is safeguard the communities by enforcing the Alcoholic Beverage Control Act. And I think what's really important to know is that in California we have 90,000 licenses, and we have about 400 employees to help enforce the 90,000 licenses. And with it comes a myriad of issues that we try every single day to help not only the community, but to help people understand what we do. We have a licensing component. We have an enforcement component that's very robust. It consists of undercover officers going in the bars and going in different establishments to make sure that there's not service to minors, overconsumption, prostitution, and a myriad of other things that cause harm in the community. We also have a regulation component where we continually look at our Alcoholic Beverage Control Act and see is there anything that we can do to enhance it, enhance the understanding, and enhance the service to the community.
And at first glance, you think alcoholic beverage control, what does that have to do with Homeland Security? But really, there is a tremendous nexus. You're like the first stop for some of these larger issues that state and local law enforcement have to deal with, even the feds. So can you talk about how you interact with other agencies?
Oh, absolutely. We have a robust working relationship with many allied agencies. I think if you think about it in this aspect, sometimes people that operate in bars, sometimes there's drugs going on, sometimes there's prostitution going on, sometimes there's illegal sales of goods going on in there, and also the illegal production of alcohol in some of the establishments that our people work with. But it's not that we do it on our own. Like, we have a line item in our budget that we give $3 million a year, and we have for quite a few years, to other law enforcement agencies so we can have them help us enforce the Alcoholic Beverage Control Act. But the bottom line is it's safety for people in the community is what we try to accomplish. And we do that by working with allied agencies.
You had a great example of working with the California Highway Patrol.
You know, I have to do a shout out for the California Highway Patrol because they have really bent over backwards to help us. When you look about what happens, sometimes people go into bars and sometimes they have too much to drink and sometimes they get behind the wheel and sometimes the Highway Patrol deals with them. Well, we worked in collaboration with the California Highway Patrol to see if they could help us with an online program. And you think, well, what does that have to do with the Highway Patrol? Well, the online program would be to teach people that were serving alcohol, when is it too much? What are my responsibilities? What are some things that could happen to me if I was to overserve someone, or if I was to serve someone that's maybe not of age, or if I was to participate in selling drugs? What would happen to me? So it's more of an awareness to the servers and a training. Well, the California Highway Patrol helped us do our business plan that would come together with this online training. So right now we're in the initial stages of the online training, and it's a multi-year process. So the first year you come up with your business plan and what you're going to do to help the community, to help the servers, to help the establishments that we regulate with their service of alcohol. And then the next phase would be to develop the whole system of online training. We do offer free training for alcohol servers right now that's open to the public, actually, and there's no cost. They can come and learn about what are some of their responsibilities when they're serving alcohol.
So you mentioned working with the CHP. Are there other agencies that you work with?
We work with multiple agencies throughout California, and we work with them on a lot of different issues that are impacting their department. But I think one of the most unique that we're working on right now is with Long Beach Police Department, and our people are working with them on human trafficking. Because if you can imagine, sometimes we go into a bar or a nightclub and we find that there's people in there that may be victims of human trafficking. So we've been working with Long Beach PD to find out what do they do? What are some of the telltale signs? What are some of the things that we can look for? Because we're in the bar already as an undercover officer. What are some of the things that we can do to help the public identify Homeland Security issues such as human trafficking?
And what would you like other agencies, other Homeland Security officials across the gamut, public health, law enforcement, emergency management, what would you think that they need to know about your agency?
You know, the alcoholic beverage control, we have about 200 plus uniform officers that are actually on the street in an undercover capacity. And a lot of times we work closely with allied agencies. Some agencies are unaware of what we do or when we do it. So I always like to say, if there's a place for us to collaborate, if there's something that's going on in the community that we can help with, because every now and then when it happens in the community, it also happens in the bars and in the nightclubs, and sometimes things erupt. And alcoholic beverage control personnel are there to help.
That's great. And I just think it's so important to have the connection with your community. So where would somebody go who needed to make that connection?
You know, to check out what office or what district is close to the law enforcement agency or the federal agency, they can go online. We have a website that breaks down every one of our offices, their phone number, their location, their address, and how to get in touch with the supervising agent in charge or the district office management.
Great. So I understand you're doing a lot of work there. What are you looking forward to most in terms of the next maybe 2 to 5 years for the agency?
So in the next 2 to 5 years, I'm hoping that our agency will have a more dynamic presence in the IT world. There's a lot of things that we can do in IT to help our clientele, not only the people that hold licenses, but people in the community. I would like to see some type of training for people that host parties. I'd like to see some type of training for the different licenses that we issue. I would like to see some type of training online for everything that we do so people understand. I would also like to see training for law enforcement in what we do and how we can assist them, because I think that the more we collaborate with other agencies, the better not only we are, but the safer we make the community for the people that we represent.
Really appreciate your time with us today, Mona. Thank you so much.
Thank you.